Hi. So, my experience with depersonalization, derealization, DPDR. Well, it sure is really uncomfortable. It gets uncomfortable, for sure. Definitely at the beginning. I remember the first time that I remember it was like probably fourth or fifth grade. That's how long ago it was, and now I'm 35 years old, and I experienced a lot of life without it in my teen years, my early teen years. The depersonalization, derealization kind of disappeared, and then it came back when I was 23. And a little context: derealization means it's defined as like being disconnected from reality, and it's like an altered perception, or what some people would call a perceptual symptom. And then there's depersonalization, where it feels like the sense of self sort of disappears. Can barely talk. Yeah, so it started off with a lot of suffering, feeling terrified and afraid of what's going. The story really was something is wrong with me. And the story was that I'm stuck like this forever. It kind of reminded me of like being high, like getting really high on marijuana, and then wondering if this sensation or feeling will ever go away. And that's kind of how I experienced it. So the first 3 years when it came back in 2023, I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out. And it took me 3 years of proper coaching, of working with a neuroplasticity coach, to feel safe in the experience of depersonalization and derealization as a baseline every single day, day and night. Go to sleep, depersonalized, wake up, depersonalized, or just in a state of DPDR. And after about 3 years, I started to experience moments of peacefulness in that state. And as I started feeling more and more peaceful, I would sort of pendulum between peace and then like anxiety, terror, peace, like back and forth with the state. And so I worked on it so hard, so not even hard, but I just really softened and really, got a lot more compassionate towards myself, and to just understand that it's really just protecting me, from feelings that are considered to be too threatening or dangerous to feel. Also memories, high intensity trauma and things like that. And it's kind of protecting from this unprocessed energy. And so I've been slowly processing it. And so I've worked for about 3 years on feeling safe with the experience of depersonalization, derealization as a baseline. And so I kind of got to a point where I now finally experience moments of freedom from that. And anything can re-trigger it. And a lot of it's relational for me. So if I'm relating with people or someone triggers me, especially in intimacy. So, I've definitely been single for a while because intimacy is a real hot trigger for those episodes. And I've been working on, I guess, when it like when I get triggered and I go back into those states of depersonalization, derealization, I now see it as like an opportunity to work at it. And it kind of comes along with like a mixture of feelings now that had been repressed before. And I feel like the depersonalization and realization was protecting me from these memories and feelings. But now the feelings are here. And so I guess the point I'm trying to make here is I've worked on feeling safe in the derealization and depersonalization experience. So going from basically feeling like just so much suffering to peacefulness in that. And from being peaceful in the depersonalization, derealization, there's now this like whole world of feelings now that I have to slowly work at feeling safe and feeling. And what I've noticed recently is some of these big feelings will emerge. It could be like a lot of fear, terror, anxiety, and then it goes into anger. So it's like fear, anger, and then there's sadness that happens, and that's like a big loop. And the anger is pretty scary for me to feel. And so I'm actually in the process of working on increasing my capacity for anger and to not judge it, repress it, shame it, or put it down. I think the reason why I'm afraid of anger is because there's these really strong feelings and it feels self-destructive, like self-hate or like wanting to hurt self. And I know that this is just sort of parts of me that were hurt in the past. And I have to admit, I've not really worked on creating enough safety and feeling really safe with the feelings. So that's the interesting thing. So it's like kind of, I guess, evolving from feeling so much terror from symptoms, like the perceptual symptom, the depersonalization realization, to graduating and feeling safe in that, and then working on the fear and terror of feelings. And so it's just a whole rewiring process, and it's really interesting. Back to the depersonalization realization, that came with a lot of numbness, feeling kind of like numb in the tips of the fingers and feet, and that a lot of that stuff got resolved. It came with feeling a lot of shutdown, feeling like not really access to the prefrontal cortex and processing information and recalling information and things like that. And I must say, there are moments where I'm just so peaceful in the experience. And I'm making this video because I recently re-entered into a state of DPDR, and I felt some resignation a little bit. But I kind of got back to a place where it's like just so much compassion and love that this is kind of all I've ever really known to really protect me as a kid. And it's just how I dealt with things as a child. And I guess when I was a kid, a lot of times when I was hurt, I would kind of be hurt alone. I don't know if it wasn't that I allowed people to come comfort me. Maybe it didn't feel safe to have my parents comfort me. But a lot of these feelings was associated with no one will be there and loneliness. And so I'm basically relearning how to kind of just be there for myself. And I'm kind of learning to really just accept this is it. This is the mind protecting itself. And I'm learning that I could be present in the depersonalization and derealization experience. Sure, it feels like I'm not here or my sense of self has disappeared, but I know that I am, and it's just a sensation. And I'm truly now building a sense of self, a stronger sense of self, that when I enter into these states, that even in the midst of the intensity of it, that I know that I am present still, and I am here, and I'm alive. And this is where it's at. And I just wanted to share that. That's just been my personal experience experiencing that. I think the first time I experienced it when I was a little kid, and I struggled with some learning disabilities as a child, because obviously being in that state is disturbing. And then as an adult, here I am at 35 years old, really sitting with it and understanding it, and creating a lot of safety in the experience, to only see now that there is fear and phobia of feeling. And so, it's a whole long process. It's a safe experience. There's nothing wrong with you. The point of this video is to just let you know that if you're experiencing this, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. It's your brain, your nervous system loves you so much. It's protecting you through this very old, archaic state, sympathetic nervous system state, where it's just going into protection. Dissociation is really part of it, and it's really here to, it's a life-preserving mechanism. It's a life-saving strategy. And really, it's about softening and just being really grateful that my brain and body and nervous system love me that much. So just know that you're absolutely safe and that there's nothing wrong with you. Thanks for listening.